Hello, it's Jordan, and this video is being recorded on the very late evening of Thursday, April 14th, 2016. And I'm going to show a couple slides today which kind of encompass the reasons why I am much more bullish on the junior mining sector than the senior mining sector. I mean, in general, the junior sector is basically the R&D of the industry, and the seniors, they've cut back on their R&D. Even heading into the secular bull market in the early 2000s, they had really cut back on their exploration. And so right now, the real R&D for the industry is the junior mining sector. And I'm just going to talk about some of the structural reasons why, in relative terms, things are shaping up much more bullishly for the juniors. And this chart shows major gold discoveries, world mine production, and the discovery-oriented gold exploration budgets. And I think that is probably a cumulative reading for various companies, so that's probably an industry figure. But essentially what we can see here is that over the past 15 years and starting in the early 2000s, budgets went up. They really accelerated, obviously, as the gold price went up and we were in a new secular bull market. But during that period, discoveries have declined and have really fallen off. If you look at the period from 1999 through 2012, so that is 14 years, a period of 14 years. Only in 2 years were there enough gold discoveries to meet global mine production. Now, obviously, the discoveries that happen, they don't immediately meet global mine production. That happens down the road. But you get the point. It's kind of seeing where, how much gold is being discovered compared to world mine production, because that mine production has to be replaced in the future. Reserves get depleted, and so there needs to be discoveries to for future world mine production. And so, just to reiterate what I already said, from 1999 to 2012, a 14-year period, 12 out of 14 years, there weren't enough discoveries to meet world mine production. And so keep that in mind. And moving on, this chart shows the average time from a discovery until production. And in decades past, you can see that it was around around 10 years. Sometimes it was more, sometimes it was less, but generally 10 years was about an average until the early 2000s. And especially since 2005, you can see that this time from discovery to production since 2005 has been trending higher. And this chart is several years old, and there's projections here for the years we're in now and even the next couple years following this year. And you can see that the time is really accelerating. 30 years, even 33 years. That's twice as much as 15 years where we were not so long ago. But you can see that this is really accelerated since 2005. And so the point is, not from these two slides, much less gold is being found, and for the gold that is being found, it's taking a much longer time for that discovery to become a mine. And so taking those two things, we move on to this chart, which shows the cumulative production profile of major producers. You can see here Agnico, Barrick, Goldcorp, IM Gold, Kinross, Newmont, Yamana. And again, this chart I think is a year or two old, so it's probably not up to date. But according to this data, the production profile for the senior miners is set to fall off a cliff after about 2020 or 2021. So just looking at it from a big picture point of view, there's been a real lack of exploration success. Not many deposits are being found that are economic, and it's taking a much longer time for the discoveries that are being found to become mines. And because of that, senior miners, they're just going to have to acquire juniors and the mid-tier companies, the mid-tier producers. Senior miners are going to have to make acquisitions. I mean, we've already seen it kind of ramp up a little bit here as the sector has turned around this year. But if you look at this production profile, I mean, this is really scary if you're one of those companies. And I mean, even if these companies discover something today, I mean, it might take 10 or 12 years, even if they're lucky, for that to become a mine. And when does that come into play? 2026, 2027, 2028? So that's why, I mean, now and over the next several years, they're going to have to acquire juniors, and they're going to have to acquire deposits that that are have a strong chance of becoming mines in the next 5 years or in the next 7-8 years. So this is a very bullish setup for the junior mining industry, and especially for quality companies with quality deposits. And so these are the reasons why I'm very bullish on this particular sector. And I'll repeat what I said in my book. What we're talking about here, this applies more to the companies than the general supply-demand argument for gold, which I'm really not a big fan of that. If you watch my videos, you know that I always make the point about real interest rates are what drives gold. So I'm not really worried about the supply and demand for gold. But if we're just looking at all this stuff from the point of view of the companies, it's clear that the major miners, the senior miners, they're going to have to acquire junior companies, and we're not just going to see a couple acquisitions. I mean, we could see a huge amount of acquisitions in the years ahead, and especially if gold has a really strong 4 or 5 year run. And even a lot of the quality companies right now, I mean, the quality juniors, the quality development companies, a lot of these companies could be gone in the next couple years. And, new companies will have to come about. But just to conclude, I'm not the first person to say all this. I mean, there's many people who've pointed this out, many experts before me. But this is something I talk about in one chapter in my book, and I just wanted to put it out there for you guys. And these 3 charts really help clarify, in my opinion, why we should be bullish on the juniors and not the seniors. That's all for today. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. And if you want more information, go to my website, thedailygold.com. To get a copy of my book, you can go to thedailygold.com/book. And I look forward to doing another video in the next week or two. Thank you.